All right, you guys. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to track your macros, how to properly look at your meal plan, insert it into MyFitnessPal, how to build your plate, how to track your food, how to know how much protein you need to eat. Okay, because this is going to be super, super, super important. It's going to carry the results. Your nutrition is going to be the most important thing on this journey. You cannot outwork a bad diet. Let me repeat. You cannot outwork a bad diet. So as much as you try, as much as you think, sneaking them cookies, putting a little extra condiments, all the things, they add up and you have no idea what you're putting into your body unless you track, all right? Now, tracking your food, it might hurt your feelings a little bit. It is going to be like ripping off the Band-Aid and seeing how bad this food really is that they be trying to sell to us in these grocery stores, all right? But it's going to help you be more educated. It's going to help you be more mindful and more intentional about the things that you're putting in your body. Because at the end of the day, you want your body to feel good. You want your body to digest things properly. You want it to give you the energy. You don't want to feel sluggish. You want your food to naturally energize your body. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to properly track your food, all right? Let's get into it. So first, I'm going to show you guys how to actually put your calories and your macro goals into MyFitnessPal, okay? So first, I'm going to open up MyFitnessPal. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to click. Oh, it just started recording. Okay, I'm going to come into MyFitnessPal. I'm going to hit on the calories number up there, right? Then it's going to take me to this page. I'm going to hit on the protein. I'm going to hit on any button, right? And hit on the goal button. After I hit on the goal button, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to adjust. So I'm trying to hit 1450 calories, right? And then my protein goal. The protein goal is going to be the first thing that I want you to come in here and adjust. So you're going to adjust your percentages based on the numbers that are on your sheet. Okay, so you're going to look at your meal guide. And if it says that you need to have a certain amount of grams of protein, you're going to finagle with these numbers until it adds up. So that's probably going to be somewhere for you 30 to 35%. Okay, so you're going to toggle your protein. You're going to check it out and see. For me, that puts me at 127 grams of protein. That's where I want to be. Okay. So other than that, you're going to come in here and if you're going to adjust your fat based on what it says on your meal plan. So you might be adjusting it to 20 to 15 to 25%, depending on what you can tolerate. Okay. And then the rest is going to be your carbs. So you're going to adjust your carbs accordingly so that it all matches up. And you want this number at the bottom to equal 100%. Okay. So for my own personal macros, my goal is to have 1,450 calories. I'm trying to have 127 grams of protein. I do not want to have more than 32 grams of fat. And I also do not want to have more than 163 grams of carbs in a day. Okay. Now, I've told all of you guys that your protein is going to be the number one thing that's going to drive these results when it comes to these macros. So I definitely want you to hit your protein goal every single day. I want it to be the priority on your plate. It's the first thing, and you're going to build all your other meals around your protein, okay? Your fats and your carbs, you have a little wiggle room. If you're somebody who likes a higher carb day versus, or you like more fats, you have a little wiggle room to adjust those 5 to 10%, all right? But your protein goal is a non-negotiable. You do not want to be under on your protein goal, period, all right? So now I'm going to show you guys how I actually track my food for the day, all right? So first we're going to do breakfast. I usually do either a protein smoothie or I do eggs. I do egg whites, spinach, toast, bacon, all the good things, right? So I'm going to show you guys how I track that in MyFitnessPal. I do encourage you guys to track your entire day at the start of your day, okay? You know what groceries you got in your fridge. You know what places you plan on stopping to get food, all right? So track your food ahead of time so you know exactly what you need to do, okay? Don't be trying to go throughout the day and track your food throughout the day, and then by the end of the day at 9 p.m., you got 50 grams of protein that you need to get because you was playing games all day and because you didn't plan ahead and because you did not know what you were actually eating until you already ate it, okay? So definitely plan ahead as best as you can. I usually like to track my meals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So that way, I don't have to think about it when it comes time. But two, if I decide to change something out of those options, if I decide, okay, I'm actually feeling something different for lunch, I can just delete lunch and swap it in for something else, but I can see what I have to play with, okay? If you remove one meal, you can see, all right, well, removing that one meal gives me 32 grams of protein that I'm gonna have to hit. It gives me 50 grams of carbs, and it gives me this much fat. So you know what you can swap that meal out for, what you can't swap it out for, all right? But planning ahead is definitely gonna be your best bet. Otherwise, I guarantee you will have more than one night where you end up at the end of the night and you either over on your fats or your carbs or you under on your protein, okay? Because you did not plan ahead. So without further ado, for example, right now, I'm going to show you guys how I track my breakfast, okay? So I'm going to come in here. These are all the ingredients that I use for my breakfast. So let's move some of these things out my way. But I have beef bacon. I've got some spinach. I've got some egg whites. I got some light mayonnaise. I got some spray butter. I got some cheese. And lastly, I got my bread. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in here onto MyFitnessPal. I'm under the breakfast tab. First, I'm going to start with honey wheat nature's own. I'm going to put honey wheat nature's own 2 slices of bread. Okay. After I add the honey wheat bread, now I'm going to add the eggs. I usually do either half a cup or a full cup of eggs. It just depends on what I'm doing that full day. But for instance, for today, we're going to do a full cup of eggs. All right. That's going to be about 18 tablespoons. If you ever are tracking something and the measurement that it says on your box doesn't match the measurement that's in MyFitnessPal, Google it. All right. I go in Google and I say, hey Google, how many tablespoons equals 1 cup? And they tell me, and then I adjust my numbers accordingly. All right. So don't let the fact that it's grams, ounces, whatever, put it in Google, put it in chat, whatever the case is, and figure out what your conversion is. Okay. So for egg whites, we put in 18 tablespoons of those egg whites. Now I'm also going to put spinach in my eggs. I usually do about 2 handfuls for myself, by myself. I'm probably doing a handful and a half. So honestly, your greens, your spinach, your lettuce, your kales are going to be super, super low calorie. So you do have a little bit of room to be, you know, a little incorrect when it comes to this, but you still want to make sure you're tracking it in, even though it's lower in calorie. Okay, you still want to track it in because it's still going to keep track of the nutrients that you're getting from that meal. It's going to keep track of how much fiber you got from that meal. So even if it's 7 calories, we're still going to add it in. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to add my spinach, raw, fresh, 7 calories, 1 cup of spinach. Okay. Now I've added my spinach. So I got my bread, I got my egg whites, I got my spinach. Now, what else do I put on my sandwich? I also put some beef bacon. So I'm going to come on here and I'm going to make sure that the macros match. I'm going to put a slice of beef bacon. Let's see. 2.5 grams of fat, 1 gram of carb, 5 grams of protein. This one don't match. This one don't match. We're not doing that beef bacon. All right. We're going to find the beef bacon and we're going to type in Kroger and I'm going to get the exact one. Now, this one is more accurate. 45 calories, 2.5 grams of fat, 1 gram of carb, and 5 grams of protein. That's the one that we want. Okay. So now my bacon is tracked. Cool. I'm going to do 1 slice of cheese. The reason that I get this cheese is not because I am a Kraft connoisseur. Okay. Because I love how Kraft cheese tastes. No, it's not. All right. I love cheese. I'm a cheesehead. I love cheese and I'm a cheesehead just as much as the next person. However, cheese is just super high in fat. It is just high calorie for no reason. 1 little slice of cheddar cheese from the Publix bakery is ridiculous. Okay. So unfortunately, we're doing Kraft. All right. We're doing Kraft these next 90 days. Get your taste buds right. Your kids be eating Kraft. You can eat Kraft too. So let's get into it. We're going to track our Kraft. We have our 2%. I get the 2% because that's the one that only has, where's it at? It only has 2.5 grams of fat in it, 2 grams of carbs, and 3 grams of protein per slice. So the one that I have on here is not accurate. We're going to keep looking. Kraft 2%. Let's see which one adds up properly. 2.5 grams, 2 grams of carbs. This one has 4 grams of protein. It's not that big of a deal, but I do want it to be more accurate. So this will be a great example anyway. So what I'm actually going to do this time is I'm going to create my own food. So I'm going to come over to my foods. I'm going to create a food. I'm going to come in here. The brand name is Kraft. The description is going to be 2% American cheese. The serving size, I'm going to put 1 slice. Then for the serving per container, you're going to put 1. Now on this next page, you're going to insert your own calories. All right, this is 45 calories. This is 2.5 grams of fat. This is 2 grams of carbs and 3 grams of protein. So I'm going to come all the way down to protein and put that in, and we're going to hit the check mark. All right, it's going to say, do you want to add the nutrient information? We're not doing all that. You're going to hit no thanks. And it's going to be added. All right. So now I have my bread, I have my eggs, I have my spinach, I have my bacon, and I have my cheese. What else is going on my sandwich? I use the spray butter, okay? I do like butter. However, this spray butter is 0 whopping calories, okay? It's 0 calories. So it gives you that nice butter taste without it giving you all the extra fat. So anytime that you can swap out for this and it works fine, I definitely go for this on my bread, on my tortilla wraps, or whatever the case. Invest, okay? I keep a bottle of this in the house. So, and even though it's 0 calories, I still put it on here just so I can know that I had some butter, okay? Get a full picture of what you're eating, because I don't want you to get in the habit of thinking that you don't need to be tracking your sauces, your sauces and your dressings and your condiments, okay? It's all just as important. So I'm gonna come in here and put my, where is it at? Spray butter. There it goes, my spray. You see, I be putting about 10 sprays, okay? I don't care. I put it on there, but I track for it anyway. So we got the butter. Last but not least, my light mayo, okay? As you can see, I still put bacon. I still eat bread. I still eat bread, butter, mayonnaise, okay? But I'm more mindful and I measure my things so that I'm actually eating within the serving size, all right? The problem that a lot of people do is they want to cook with cheese. They want to cook their eggs with cheese and just be adding cheese on cheese on cheese. Okay, you can't control how much cheese you eat in when you do it like that. And same for the mayonnaise, all right? You whip out your tablespoon and measure out your mayonnaise and then scoop it out and put it on your sandwich, all right? You don't know how much you're eating unless you measure, unless you track. You're not at the stage yet where you can eyeball, okay? That ain't you yet. So you're measuring your stuff, all right? So last but not least, we got the mayonnaise. I got my light mayonnaise. This is 35 calories, 3.5 grams of fat, 1 gram of carb, and 0 grams of protein. So this is off by like 1 calorie and 1 little gram of fat. We're just going to go for it though. We're going to go for it. I already showed you guys how to manually put things in, so you know how to do it. Okay. But now, as you see, my breakfast was 420 calories. If I click on this calorie button, I can now see that right now my macros, I'm a little bit high in my protein. The fat's not so bad. The carbs looking good. When I come in here, I can see I got 31 carbs out of 163 carbs. I got a lot more to go. I've gotten 9 grams out of 32 grams of fat. So I got some more room to grow. And then 44 grams out of 127. So I'm already doing good on my protein. This is a high protein breakfast. You want to aim for at least 30 grams of protein per meal. Okay. At minimum, you want to aim for 30 grams of protein per meal. So that way you're not struggling at the end of your day, eating a bowl of chicken, eating a bowl of tuna. No. All right. Let's try to get our protein in with our meals. Let's have a balanced plate, not a plate filled with carbs where we're not getting our protein in. Okay. And then this screen as well will show you kind of what you're working with, how much sugar you got, how much calcium, iron, all the good things that you may not need to know right now. But we're focusing on our protein, carbs, and our fats. So now that I got my breakfast in, cool. We'll move this over to the side. We're done with breakfast. We're moving on. I know that for myself, for my lunch meal, I already have some meal prep, right? I got some salmon in there. I got some chicken in there. I got some rice. And for today's video, we got some broccoli. We got some uncooked broccoli for the presentation. However, we gonna make it work. So, okay. So now I'm going to show you guys how I would track my lunch in MyFitnessPal. All right. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to add the salmon that I have is coho salmon. So be as specific as you can. And I probably need at least... The thing about salmon is it is a fattier fish, so you do want to aim for white fish, but I'm going to need a little bit more protein. So I'm going to do 3 ounces of salmon, and then I'm also going to add in a little bit of chicken. I have some cooked chicken, so I'll add in about, 2 ounces of chicken. This is realistically what I would eat, okay? Then we're going to add in some jasmine rice. Can't spell. All right, add in your cup of jasmine rice, and then we're going to add in some broccoli. That's the vegetable that I have. We're going to add in a cup of broccoli. Cool. Now, I have 557 calories left. So it looks like I have 41 grams of protein left for my dinner. I'm going to have 82 grams of carbs left and 12 grams of fat. Okay, cool. So that lets me know that I do have a little wiggle room for dinner, but I still need 40 grams of protein in. So we're going to come down here and I'm going to show you guys. Actually, you can copy and paste. So I'm going to copy and paste this rice and this broccoli. And we're going to copy to dinner today. All right, cool. Now my dinner already has the jasmine rice and the broccoli, and I'm going to add in here, I'm just going to have some chicken because chicken is lower in fat, so I can get away with more chicken. And I need at least 3 ounces. Is that going to be enough? I don't know yet. Let's see. I got 9 grams of protein left. And I still have some more room for carbs, and I got room for fats. So what does that mean? What does that mean? I'm going to come in here. I'm going to adjust my chicken goal just a little bit. We're going to do 1 1/3. Let's see what that will do for us. Now, I just got 1 gram of protein left. All right, that's not bad. That's not bad. That's not bad. We can do that. All right. Outside of that, we got a little bit of room for carbs and a little bit of room for fat. So what am I going to do for that? I'm going to add maybe I'll have some grapes. I have a couple of grapes I have cotton candy grapes, so I'll add 5 grapes for my lunch. I'll add 5 grapes for my dinner. Oops, child, what I'm typing. All right. No. Did it add it? Okay, cool. So now let's see where we are. So we've hit our protein goal. We have a little bit of room left to carbs. We have a little bit of room left in our fats. All right. So for our breakfast, we did have a sandwich, but we didn't have any fruit with our breakfast. So for our breakfast, maybe you want to have some berries, okay? We're going to add in a couple of berries. We'll do blackberries. Let's say you had about 1/4 cup of blackberries. Where does that leave us? We can afford more. We're going to do 1/2 cup. Now where are we at? We can afford more. We're going to do the full cup of the berries. Now, all right, so now we only got 8 grams of carbs left, okay? 4 grams of fats. Our macros look a little bit better in line. We got 45% carbs, 18% fat, 37% protein. So I do still have a little bit of wiggle room. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? How am I going to adjust that? I think for our lunch, we're going to increase this and we're going to do the full serving size. We're going to do the 10 grapes for our lunch. Now, all right, so now my total calories, I have 1451 calories that I've tracked. My goal is 1450, okay? It looks like I had 129 grams of protein out of my goal of 127. I got 159 grams of carbs out of my goal of 163. And I got 28 grams of fat out of my goal of 32 grams of fat, okay? So are my numbers exactly perfect? No, but they are very close. Did I hit my protein goal? Yes, absolutely. Are my carbs and my fats pretty close to what my goal needs to be? Am I under eating too much? Absolutely not. Am I overeating much? Absolutely not, okay? So this is a good representation of how you want your macros to look realistically, okay? Because the truth of the matter is it may be hard to get it exactly to the T, but you do want to make sure you put in effort to get it as close to that T as possible. So you see how tracking ahead allows you to kind of plan your day accordingly, because we wouldn't have known that we were going to have extra carbs and fats if we didn't plan for our day. We wouldn't have known that we needed to eat a little bit of fruit with all of our meals to make sure that we are getting the carbs and the fats, right? Now, you'll better understand as you continue tracking what things count for which macros. So for instance, when you see, okay, I have a little bit of room in carbs and fats, you'll know, okay, I could probably do an extra slice of cheese, or I could probably add just a couple more vegetables on my plate to help me reach that carb goal, right? And you'll know for sure that if your protein is looking a little low, you better pick up that meat, okay? But yes, this is an example of how I would go about tracking my foods in MyFitnessPal for my breakfast, lunch, and my dinner so that I can be very, very close to my macros. Now, I'm going to show you how I track it on my plate. All right, so I've got my handy dandy food scale, right? We're going to turn that thing on. And I got my plate right here. Okay, first we're going to start with our rice. So I'm going to measure out the rice. I'm trying to get a cup of rice. Y'all be trying to do y'all cups and the cup be all overflowing. Okay, that's not a cup. That's not a cup of rice. All right, so you want to taper it off now. Take off that excess. You see it? Taper off that excess. Cool. So I'm going to put my rice on the plate. We got a cup of rice. Moving on. Now, I need a cup of broccoli. We're going to get our thing. We're going to measure out a cup of broccoli. Now, your vegetables is one thing that you can go a little over on, okay? Like, please, the more vegetables, the merrier, because you want to be getting in your fiber, all right? Because if you're not getting in your fiber, your body is not flowing and doing what it needs to do. Get your fiber in, all right? Last thing on our list is we got this salmon. So now I need my food scale for my salmon. I'm going to take this here. I'm going to put this on here because I don't want to put the food directly on my food scale. So I'm going to put it here. I'm going to zero that out. So now it counts this weight as 0. And I think we said we were going to do like 3 ounces. 3 ounces. I'm taking off this skin on my salmon because I'm not eating the skin. It's extra fat, but also I'm taking it off before I track because I'm not eating it, it's not going to track towards my ounces. I'm not about to be wasting my little ounces. Okay, you're going to want to make sure you eat every little piece of your food when you're on a deficit. I only need 3 ounces and this says 3.5. So I'm going to take some off. That's 2.8. Of course it's 2.8. Of course. Sometimes you're going to have to play with your food. It is what it is. All right, so that's 3 ounces of salmon, okay? We got our 3 ounces of salmon. Put that on the plate. All right, now my scale is back at 0. And the last thing I'm putting on my plate was supposed to be 2 ounces of chicken. I got my meal prep company because I don't got time to be playing with my food. So now I need 2 ounces of chicken. I already got a couple of cut up pieces of chicken because I be playing with my food already. That's 1.4 ounces. That is, All right, 2 ounces of chicken. All right, it's not that much chicken. Add that to your plate, and you are now done. All right, easy peasy, beautiful. And then you're basically going to do the same exact thing for your dinner. Now, if you're someone who's packing your meals for work, you're going to need to do this on Sunday. Pack up your Tupperware ahead of time. Measure out your stuff ahead of time so that it's proper and you don't have to think about it. The more that you track your food in MyFitnessPal, the more that it's going to remember who you are and it's going to build your list, right? So the next week when you go track your meals, it's going to be much easier for you to plug and play. And when you start typing, the same way you saw my items start popping up already, it's going to start popping up for you. You're going to be able to just add the items to your thing, okay? Now, again, like I showed you guys, if the item that you're looking for is not exactly in MyFitnessPal, then you're going to have to make up the food. Add a food, create a food, add in the nutrition facts of whatever is right in front of you so that you can be most accurate. Eat things by the serving size, measure things, use your measuring cups, use your food scale, and make sure that you know exactly what is going into your body so that you can make sure that you're in a calorie deficit. Whether your goal is to lose weight, you're trying to be in a calorie deficit. Whether your goal is to gain weight, then you're in a calorie surplus. And if your goal is to maintain, then you're in maintenance, okay? So I hope this video was helpful. I hope you guys can take away how to properly track your food because it's going to be the most important thing. If you guys have any questions, please let me know.